Welcome in to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, I mean always, he means always, they mean always, you mean always, she means always, an instant classic.
Danny Dunn! Hi, J.
We will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
Alright, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Juggernaut Retro Reviews. And this is episode number 48 of Juggernaut Retro Reviews, and since it's still the month of July, you know, I haven't did a Juggernaut Retro Review in a while here. I thought it'd be right that I knock out some Money in the Banks. I mean, Money in the Bank, 2022 already happened. Happened a few weeks ago. Which, usually, pay-per-views usually happen later on in the month. But, since we got two pay-per-views happening in the same month, they had to have Money in the Bank earlier in the year. Money in the Bank earlier in July. But nonetheless, I'm going to be talking about Money in the Bank 2013, which was held on July 14th, 2013, which, that's funny, I'm reviewing this on July 14th, 2022. So, it's the show is 11 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 11 years ago or so, or maybe. No, I can't exactly remember. I can't do math right now. But yeah, the show was held from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Wells Fargo Center. The attendance for the show was 15,000, and overall, I thought the crowd was really good for this show. The crowds were hyped, like an ECW type of feel, like a ladder matches, more extreme stuff, So this was a very good place to have Money in the Bank. And the crowd was hot the whole night. And, wrestling, WWE for the summer of 2013 was actually pretty decent. I mean, I was enjoying a majority of stuff, going into SummerSlam and things like this. And Money in the Bank, has always been one of my favorite shows to watch. And this was a really good one here. I mean, at the time when I was watching the show, there felt like there was some filler stuff on here. But outside, the Money in the Bank matches and outside, the world title matches, I thought the show was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. So let's go ahead and get started with this review. So the first match we're going to be talking about is the Money in the Bank ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship contract. So we had Damien Sandow, we had Antonio Cesaro, which, that's what he was going by at the time, Cody Rhodes, Dean Ambrose, Fandango, Jack Swagger, and Wade Barrett. So, kicking off the show, I mean, we already had Dean Ambrose and Fandango. They already were in the ring. They got a couple jobber entrances, because at the time, they were doing pre-shows on, the YouTube, on YouTube and stuff. And so they came out during the pre-show, which it's unfortunate for Dean Ambrose and Fandango. They got jobber entrances, while everybody else, they got an entrance. But I don't understand why they did that way. But there were a lot of tag teams in this match. We had Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes as a tag team. The Rhodes Scholars. We had the Real Americans, Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. They were a tag team. So yeah, I mean, there were quite a bit of tag teams. This Money Bank was more for the mid-carders, more guys who have to work their way up to the top more. Who don't really get a whole lot of these opportunities. So I thought that was pretty cool about this Money in the Bank. Like I said, more with the mid-carders and stuff. There were some pretty good spots in this match. I really like when it was Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. Antonio Cesaro went on the shoulders of Swagger, and I thought it was very innovative, the way he was trying to Antonio Cesaro was trying to grab the briefcase. And Michael Cole saying, hey, you don't even need to use the ladder to go get the briefcase. You can, use your partner, and, that's still legal. Because, there are no rules in the Money in the Bank match. So I thought that was a really cool spot in the match. I also think that, Dean Ambrose, he was doing that whole, Terry Funk spot where he has the ladder around his head, and he's like doing like a helicopter spin. But it was Cesaro and Swagger. They grabbed both ends of the ladder, like opposite ends of the ladder, and it seemed very preposterous. But like, they picked the ladder up in the air, and then like Dean Ambrose, pretended like he had his head caught in like the between the ladder, and like he ended up getting on top of the ladder. It was actually a pretty cool spot. I mean, it was pretty interesting to watch. I never saw it before. And then Swagger and Cesaro, they dumped Dean Ambrose outside the ring. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Cody Rhodes, he was looking dominant in this match. I mean, the commentary was like hyping him up, saying, "Oh yeah, like how he's getting so close," but then he gets stopped, and he gets back up there, and he stops some people, and like he was one of the guys who I thought was going to win this at the time. We even had the Shield get involved, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. They tried to help out Dean Ambrose to get the win. And then the Usos came out to stop Seth Rollins, and it was, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Because, earlier in the night, there was, on the kickoff, they had the show going up against the Usos, which that was a really good match. If you never checked that match out, that was definitely a good match on this show. It was on the pre-show, which it's like an exclusive on the Money Bank DVD. But yeah, I mean, and there was this other spot where Dean Ambrose was climbing the ladder, and like he fell onto everybody on the outside of the ring. And after that, Cody Rhodes went up the ladder, and then Damien Sandow, he got taken out pretty early in the match. And Damien Sandow's gonna win this, and he threw Cody Rhodes off the ladder, and Damien Sandow won the world title contract for the Money in the Bank match. So so Damien Sandow turned on Cody Rhodes here, so that set up like a feud between them throughout the rest of the summer here. So, and then he turned to Cody Rhodes babyface. So I thought that was good to do and stuff. And Dean, I mean, I don't know why I keep on saying Dean Ambrose, but Damien Sandow and like John Cena and like Baron Corbin, those were the three guys that failed to cash in for a Money in the Bank briefcase. Because like, I mean, didn't really see a big star, like a big main evented star out of Damien Sandow. I mean, it was like in 2014 where he was getting so over, like when he was doing the stuff with The Miz, where Damien Sandow was like mocking everybody. But like I said, like at this time, I didn't really think that Damien Sandow could be a main eventer. I didn't feel like he had it. But then, when he went on to the independents, when he went to different promotions, he's gotten better. He improved. Damien Sandow has. But yeah, I thought this was a decent match here. Pretty fun opener. Excuse me, but yeah, it was a fun opener, and like it was good that they turned Cody Rhodes face. And I feel like as time went on with Cody Rhodes, as he got older and like he became more wiser, with his age. And when he went to Ring of Honor, when he went to Impact, AEW, he's gotten a lot better over time. And and sometimes some wrestlers it takes longer, and and even in sports. So and Cody Rhodes finally found that niche. And even with Mark Henry, which we'll talk about him later, but sometimes it takes longer. But yeah, let's go on to the next match though. Which the next match we had was the WWE Intercontinental Championship match. We had Curtis Axel defending the championship against The Miz, and Paul Heyman was in the corner of Curtis Axel. So Paul Heyman, he was mentoring a lot of guys at this time. He's mentoring Curtis Axel. He was still CM Punk and stuff. And then eventually he would, Brock Lesnar would return, at SummerSlam, and then later on. Heyman would mentor Ryback. So, he was mentoring a lot of guys at this time. But I thought this match was decent here. I mean, Paul Heyman, he got ejected early on during this match. And the crowd was not happy that he got ejected. They were chanting, "We want Heyman," a whole bunch of "We want Heyman" chants. I mean, because they're in Philadelphia. So they're going to chant for Paul Heyman and all of that. Which I thought the fans were going to really turn on The Miz, but they didn't really turn on him that much. I mean, I felt like there wasn't really a whole lot of reaction in this match. And like I said, I thought this was a decent match. I think this was the best showing out of Curtis Axel here, and it's unfortunate with Curtis Axel because I thought he had so much potential. You know, when I was watching during this time, I thought he had so much potential seeing him on Raw, and because he's, that's Mr. Perfect's son. So, Kurt Hennig's son. So you think he would have so much potential, have very good charisma. But yeah, it's unfortunate for what happened with Curtis Axel that he didn't go too far in WWE. And beating the Miz here, a few years earlier, the Miz was in the main event of WrestleMania, with John Cena. So I mean, it was pretty big for Curtis Axel to throw off the Miz here, and I feel like the IC title was, pretty still. It was still established at this point. I mean, during this time, it's more used during 2013 than it is now, which is really unfortunate. I mean, I feel like now they don't even care about the IC title. But yeah, Curtis Axel ended up winning the match. It was a decent match. Yeah, so we'll go move on to the next match then, which we had was the WWE Divas Championship match. We had AJ Lee defending the title against Caitlyn, and Big E was in the corner of AJ Lee, and Layla was in the corner of Caitlyn. Yeah, I mean, AJ Lee, she was looking great in this match with her. She was looking very good technical wise. I mean, she was probably working with CM Punk at this time, training with Punk, because they are a couple. And then I didn't understand why Layla was out there, because I felt like Layla was going to be turning on Caitlyn, but she didn't do anything at all. I think it was at the pay-per-view before this, I think it was at Payback 2013, where Caitlyn and AJ, they put on a great match. Yeah, it was at Payback. But this here, it wasn't that good. I mean, on Caitlyn's side of things, she did not do anything for me in this match. I mean, it's like I said, AJ, she was working on Caitlyn's arm a lot during this match. I mean, Caitlyn, she hit a nice spear, and then, she sold her arm injury, and then AJ Lee locked in the Black Widow to retain the Divas Championship. But like I said, I didn't really see much in Caitlyn in this match here. I mean, she got dominated a lot during this match. And I felt like this match went on more than my liking, but hey, I mean, at least they were trying to go in more of a positive way with the women's division, rather than having those piss break matches. So, I mean, I gotta give it to, AJ Lee and Caitlyn for actually, trying to go in the right way with the women's division. So, I'll give props to that. I'm kind of kicking off a little bit of the women's evolution, as they say. And then the next match we had was Ryback going up against Chris Jericho. Yeah, this match really didn't do it for me at all. I was kind of confused on who was the face here and who was the heel, but Ryback was working as a heel. Jericho, he was working, as a babyface, because he just excuse me. Jericho, he came back in 2013 as a babyface, which the year before Jericho was a heel, when he was doing that stuff with CM Punk, the whole best in the world thing. Yeah, like I said, Ryback was not really a very good worker in the ring. He wasn't doing the whole very good stuff. I mean, from a lot of guys, saying that Ryback was never a really good worker. He was very dangerous. Even from, you can hear that from CM Punk on his podcast with that Colt Cabana show. Like I said, Ryback won the match. The match was a little too long for me, in my opinion. Like I said, I never really saw much in Ryback. I mean, he's basically like a Goldberg 2.0. I mean, everybody called him Rygol. No. What were they calling him? They were calling him Goldback or something. They were doing a whole lot of, kind of like mocking of Goldberg or Ryberg. They were, because because he's basically a Goldberg knockoff here, and I mean, Ryback won the match by a what was it? Was it by a schoolboy? It was by some type of roll up. Because like Jericho, he's going for the lion salt, and then I think Ryback turns it into like a schoolboy or something like that. I can't exactly remember. It wasn't a schoolboy. It was by some type of roll though. But like I said, I really wasn't into this match. And then the next match we had was the World Heavyweight Championship match. We had Alberto Del Rio defending the title against Dolph Ziggler. And at this time, Dolph Ziggler, he was so over. I mean, just a few months earlier, he cashed in his SmackDown Money Bank briefcase, and at the night after WrestleMania 29. And that was one of the biggest pops that for a Money Bank cash in at that time. And then of course it was at the Payback pay-per-view, where they basically did a double turn with having Ziggler turn face and having, Alberto Del Rio turn heel, because his whole face run wasn't working for Alberto Del Rio. That really wasn't working for him. And that was where Dolph Ziggler, he got concussed. He got multiple concussions in that match against Del Rio. So they put the title onto Del Rio. But no, I thought this match here with Del Rio and Ziggler was good here. I mean, Del Rio was looking very technical in this match, and Dolph Ziggler, he was looking very, with his athleticism and, looking like Billy Gunn, Shawn Michaels-esque. I mean, I definitely, saw that a lot with Dolph Ziggler. I mean, if Billy Gunn and Shawn Michaels made a baby, that's what it would come out to be, looking like Dolph Ziggler. And, it's unfortunate for, what Dolph Ziggler, he never had after he got his concussion, he never really made it back to this main event spot, which, he has so much talent. He's very athletic. He's a very good worker in the ring, and he's great at selling, a great seller in the ring. But, I mean, Ziggler's happy to, where he's being at right now. He's happy at the spot. And, he just recently did a babyface turn, against Austin Theory, which I kind of need to go back and check that out. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good match, and during the match, we had AJ Lee come out, which it seems she seemed very confused, like she didn't know what she wanted to do. During this time, I completely forgot that AJ Lee, it feels like she was with everybody, because she was with Punk at one time, and she was with Kane, who else was she with? She was with Cena, Ziggler, she was with a lot of people backstage, with her, whole gimmick that she was doing. But yeah, I mean, AJ Lee, she cost Ziggler the match when Alberto Del Rio, he was going for a super kick, or going for a kick, and AJ Lee, she jumped in the ring and she hit Del Rio with the Divas Championship, and then basically that split Ziggler and AJ Lee apart, because Ziggler goes like, this, just leave me alone. You cost me the world title, so that kind of split, like I said, AJ Lee and Big E away from Ziggler. But no, I thought it was a solid match here. Like I said, it's unfortunate that Ziggler hasn't been up to the big main eventing spot. I mean, that was pretty cool that Ziggler, he was back down he was in NXT. That's pretty cool. He won the NXT title this year at his age that he's at. So I gotta give Ziggler, the props and stuff. That he's like I said, a very good worker in the ring. But yeah, let's move on to the next match here, which we had was a WWE Championship match. We had John Cena defending the title against Mark Henry. During this time, I remember this feud very clearly, with Mark Henry doing his retirement speech, and he fooled everybody. Everybody thought he was going to retire, and he did his he turned heel on John Cena, a great person to do that on. And Mark Henry, he was just hitting on all cylinders during this time. It was around 2011 where he was doing the whole Hall of Pain stuff and doing the whole "that's what I do," people were really getting behind Mark Henry at this time. And that really came, he really came into himself at the end of, of his WWE run. Like I said, some guys it takes longer, some guys, it might never happen, or some guys it happens sooner, it just, everybody's different, But yeah, I thought this was a really good match. I mean, this was one of your typical Cena matches here. I mean, he got dominated a lot during this match, and the little kids and the women were chanting for Cena, and the grown-ups and the older men were booing John Cena, going like, "Let's go, Cena! Cena sucks." So this was more of your typical John Cena type of match. The crowd was really hyped for this match a lot. I thought it was very good stuff, and the submissions, like, they seemed really huge. I mean, when Cena was trying to get out of them, and Cena, there sometimes he tried to go for the AA, but Mark Henry fell on top of his back, and but eventually, John Cena did end up, hitting the AA to retain the WWE Championship. So I thought it was a good match here. This match still lives up to his, good expectations and stuff. So, I thought it was good. But at the time, when I first watched this match, I was like, oh, this is just an average match. I didn't really care about it. But after going back and watching this, I thought this was some pretty decent stuff here. Really, really good stuff. I enjoyed it. And then the next match we had was the Money in the Bank match for the WWE contract. So this was they were dubbing this the All-Stars Money in the Bank match because there were, former world champions in this match. We had Randy Orton in this match. We had Christian. We had CM Punk. We had Daniel Bryan. Excuse me. We had Rob Van Dam. The returning Rob Van Dam, which, they were hyping up Rob Van Dam that he's going to be making his return at the show. Which he was really over in this match. They were chanting the hell out of his name. I mean, of course, they were in Philadelphia. And, they were chanting for and also Sheamus was in this match. Like, I tell you what, Rob Van Dam, Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk, those were the three guys that were so over in this match. Like I couldn't tell who was over more, but, like, you could have said any of these guys could have won this match. Like I said, like, the first Money in the Bank match on the show, was more for, like, the mid-carders, more for, like, the guys who had to work for it more. These were, like, the more star-studded. This was the more star-studded Money in the Bank match. Like, you guys already had the solidified main eventers here. But this was fun stuff. I mean, this wasn't, like, so overdone, so they were doing some pretty good stuff here. And, it was good they had Christian in this match because, he's been so Money in the Bank, or ladder matches. He's been so much. So it was good to, bounce ideas off of Christian here. Daniel Bryan, like I said, I mean, every time he was hitting moves, like, people were doing the yes chant, doing all that stuff. Rob Van Dam, he hit, he was doing some nice stuff. He hit frog splash at the top of the ladder. Sheamus, he took a nasty bump, off the ladder, and, like, he broke another ladder, so he took a nasty bump in this match. Didn't see a whole lot of Randy Orton in this match, until the very end and stuff. And it was kind of weird that Curtis Axel came out, because, like, he came out and attacked Daniel Bryan and CM Punk during this match here. And then Punk got back up and hit Curtis Axel with the GTS. And then Paul Heyman was out by ringside with CM Punk. And then Paul Heyman was going like, "Why did you do that? That's my guy. I want CM Punk to win this match. What? You don't mess with CM Punk. That's my best friend," and all that good stuff there. And then as CM Punk was trying to climb the ladder, Paul Heyman got in the ring and grabbed another ladder and hit Punk in the back with it and hit him in the head a few times, which those ladder shots to CM Punk's head looked really nasty. They looked really, really nasty. Like, saw blood gushing down, like, off the top of the crown of CM Punk's head. So it just looked really nasty there. That set up the match between Punk and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Which my whole thoughts with the whole CM Punk and Paul Heyman feud, I feel like it kind of hurt Punk a little bit because I feel like Punk should have got more wins and stuff. Like, I mean, he put on great matches, but like he really wasn't. He got fed to Lesnar and stuff, so I feel like some of the stuff hurt him a little bit, and especially the feud with Ryback, Ryback injured Punk a lot, which Punk hated working with Ryback. In the fall of 2013. But yeah, so CM Punk, he got taken out, and then Randy Orton hits an RKO off the ladder onto Rob Van Dam, and then Randy Orton goes back up and grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase, and it's all history from there because at SummerSlam 2013, they had that whole big cash in, which I'm going to be reviewing Money in the Bank 2013, or I'll probably be doing, not Money in the Bank 2013, SummerSlam 2013, sorry. I'm going to be doing probably a watch along or a review for that show, so stay tuned for that, because that's going to be exciting to do that one. But yeah, I mean, Randy Orton won, which people weren't too enthused about that, because, they were kind of, I feel like some of the fans felt like a burnout of like Randy Orton, because they've seen him on top so much, and they've seen, Cena on top so much, so I feel like they felt a burnout of a couple of those wrestlers. But like I said, I feel like everybody did what they needed to do in this match. It was very fun, like very star-studded. I don't think I ever seen a more star-studded Money in the Bank match, like with more, like as WWE called them, all-stars. I don't think I ever saw, a huge Money in the Bank match like this, which it's probably one of my favorite Money in the Bank matches. Like, they didn't do a whole lot of crazy spots, it wasn't like a cluster. It was good stuff. But like I said, Randy Orton won the match here. And I thought this was a solid show. I really did. If this is your first time ever checking out my channel, please smash that subscribe button. That really helped me out a lot. And don't forget to turn on that post notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And also, go follow me on all my social media platforms. Go follow me on Twitter at TheTrueJSB, and Instagram is the same thing. Also, go subscribe to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, and I mean always, an instant classic. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Anchor. You can listen to us on YouTube, or you can watch us on YouTube. It doesn't matter, whichever one you want to do. And then, yeah, like I said, go follow all the social media platforms for the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. It's at ICW_podcast. And yeah, that was my review. Like I said, my review for Money in the Bank 2013. If you guys enjoyed the video, please, hit that like button. Or if you didn't enjoy it, hit that dislike, whatever you guys want to do. More preferably, I like you hitting the like button. And also, go subscribe to Kicking It with Leo on YouTube. His link will be down below. And also, go check out his channel. Might be doing some more collabs with him in the future here, so stay tuned for that. But this is Juggernaut saying peace out, and I will catch you guys in my next video, whenever that may be.